Actually, I think Dominic is probably better to do this. I've been here for 6 months, and I think Dominic has been here for 6 years. But I'll go ahead and try my luck at this. Welcome to Warren Truck Assembly Plant. My name is Jason, I'm the plant manager here. And I'm extremely excited to have you folks here to visit our facility. First, it's very good for us, and personally me. As soon as we started, the group of folks you all came in and you instantly started asking questions. And the questions, if I were to bucket them, they were in 2 categories. One was all about the product, and 2 was about the plant and how we run the layout and how many shifts. So fortunately, the 2 presentations you're going to see today hopefully address those 2 buckets of questions. What I'm going to go through is really about the plant. How long has the plant been here? What kind of products do we make? A little bit about the workforce, and then our performance overall. But again, thank you very much for coming here. I appreciate it. And again, it's a great opportunity for us as a plant to bring the customers in and get your feedback, and then to showcase where we manufacture the product. Okay, first we start with safety. Part of today is a tour around the floor, so it would be irresponsible for me to tell you about our safety policy. When you enter on the floor, everybody has to have proper attire. Looking around, I think everybody has the proper shirts and pants on. Footwear, no open-toe shoes and no high heels. And also, you have to have proper eyeglasses. So I think we distributed that in the beginning when you walked in. If you didn't get those when you go on to the plant tour, please make sure you do. You're going to be on carts the entire time that you're there, golf carts, trailer vehicles. So you won't have to worry about stepping off and getting outside of pedestrian aisles. If for any reason you do, anything comes up and you have to get off, please understand our cell phone policy. There's no walking and talking on the floor and no texting. So for any reason you have to do any of those activities, please make sure we're stopped. That's inclusive of all of our visitors and any Chrysler employees as well, and myself. Okay, in the case of an emergency, heaven forbid there will be one, you will be chaperoned the entire time. Emergency tones, there are 3 distinct tones. A long whoop indicates fire evacuation, a steady wail is tornado or inclement weather, and all clear is a steady continuous horn. Again, I don't expect anything to happen of this nature based on the weather forecast, but if it does, you'll be chaperoned and escorted to the evacuation site. Okay, a little bit about what I want to talk about today. Again, I've been here in this plant for 6 months, but I've been in the company about 16 years. It's the first time in an assembly plant. I spent the majority of my time on the stamping side, which happens to be just north of this facility here. But what I'll tell you is about our history. Overall, this is probably one of the oldest Chrysler facilities, built in 1938. Talk about the plant demographics, the folks that build our fine products. I'll take you through a little bit of the plant layout, just some graphics and some video, some statistics about the equipment here. Talk about world-class manufacturing, which is really our operating system, the principles and the metrics that we have in place to gauge performance. Talk about our performance trends, and then a little bit about some of the extracurricular and community activities that we're involved with. Okay, plant history, an overview. As I talked, it's one of the oldest facilities, 1938, and if anybody's from the Detroit area, it was designed by famous architect Albert Kahn. And Albert Kahn did quite a bit of industrial buildings here in the area. Not only Warren Truck Assembly Plant, Belle Isle Aquarium, Detroit Athletic Club, Fisher Building, and some of the Ford facilities, Ford Rouge plant in the area. If you're into architecture, that's a big thing. If you're not, it just means we've got a really cool building. But if you look at the facility here, the original design was really about open spaces and natural lighting. So there's something called a sawtooth roof design. You can see a little bit in the photos there. And at one time, probably prior to the 1970s, that was all natural lighting. So it was a great facility. Since then, through many economic downturns and for different various reasons, those have since then been painted over and covered up. But part of what we're doing here in the plant is try to restore some of the natural beauty that was inherent to the building in 1938. Okay, like I said, we've been building trucks here since 1938. As soon as we opened the doors, we started to manufacture vehicles for World War II. So during the World War II and the wartime period, we built about 400,000 trucks from 1939 to 1942. Current models to build the Dodge Dakota and the Ram 1500. Of course, the 1500 we have an outdoorsman and a Longhorn right here to my right, to your left. Volume, and somebody asked this right out front, so I know that this slide is important to at least one person. We run 2 8-hour shifts and production rate of 900 vehicles a day. Okay, product history, and I always chuckle about this one a little bit because everything is black and white. 1938 to 1942 are the wartime vehicles that are pictured there. We have always been a truck plant, so you see some of the different model iterations throughout the years up until 1959 with the Adventure. And then suddenly in 1975 we had color photos and we got into the Ram pickup. It's pretty interesting. At home at my grandmother's house, all the pictures look the same. Some period of time they're all black and white, and then they turned into color. 1980 the Ram Charger, 1984 was the introduction of the Dakota. 94 was the 1500 Ram T300, and then the current model there is in 2011 is the Ram 1500. The facility as it exists today, so if you go back a couple slides, it's quite different. Right there in the middle where it says assembly, that's the original building from 1938. In 1985 we added a paint shop, and then in 95 or 6 we added the other part of the building there, the north body shop, with the introduction of the new Ram pickup. If you look on here, all the way at the bottom is 8 Mile Road, and all the way at the top is 9 Mile Road. So the Chrysler property extends pretty much 1 mile north to south. On the complete north side there is a stamping plant, which supplies the majority of our sheet metal for the truck here. You won't see that today on the tour. Of course, it is a Chrysler facility, but that is under a different plant manager. Good friend of mine, and I spent about 8 years over there. Overall, as a plant, we're about 4.5 million square feet on 86 acres of land, 675 robots that perform various operations from welding to material handling. Each vehicle has 4,800 welds, and if you were to take all the conveyor that's in the facility here and line it up, it would stretch about 37 miles, which would almost get me home. And again, the facility started construction in 1937. What's the farthest somebody traveled here? Just curious.
California.
California. I think you're going to win. Yeah, about the closest, just from curiosity.
Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Romeo.
Romeo, okay.
Richmond.
Romeo.
Richmond.
Utica.
Boston. How many people from Michigan? Okay, we got about a third. That's good. Notice none of my staff raised their hands, so I'm not sure where they're from. It doesn't really matter, as long as they're here every day. Okay, this is kind of what manufacturing looked like in 1957. This is a picture of the final line. Fortunately, things have changed a little bit, but again, this is the original part of the building. And the same picture taken at the same location in 2011. So a little bit of a change. Current models that we're making, we have 4 models on 2 platforms, the Dakota and the Ram 1500, and kind of the production breakdown. Primarily, we do about 90% Ram and 10% in my rough mathematics on the Dakota pickup. But quad cab Ram is 51%, crew cab is 38%, the Dakota quad is 8%, and then the Dakota club cab is 3%. And if we look coming up here shortly in the next couple of months, we'll be a plant that manufactures just primarily and only the Ram 1500. So the Dakota builds out. Okay, if you're interested in buying another truck, I'm assuming everybody in here drives Ram 1500, but I encourage you to buy more. I wouldn't be doing my due diligence if I didn't encourage you to buy another product. But if you decide to order one, and what we build here, you can buy a Ram truck in any one of 54,000 different combinations. In that, you can get 5 powertrain options, 3 engines in the 4x2 and 2 of them in the 4x4. 13 model variations, so if you look at the model, the cab, and the box size, anything from the low-line ST to the Laramie Longhorn, short box, long box, Ram box. We build for 4 different markets, US, Canada. How many Canadians in here? Yeah, I work in Canada, so I'll count half myself. All right. 12 different colors and 3 two-tone combinations. Again, you can order a vehicle in any one of 54,000 different ways, which adds a little bit of complexity in our daily life. Production volume. So how many do we build here? Yeah, we build 900 a day. But anybody understand the industry over the years, it's kind of been cyclical. This is kind of a good story for us, I guess, in the last couple of years. So if you look at the high point, 2003, 2004, we're building somewhere between 275,000, 300,000 trucks a year on a 3-shift operation. And then the economy, automotive, banking, finance, it doesn't matter, right? The economy went on a downturn, and kind of auto sales are an indicator that follows that. So us as a company, of course, we went through a little bit of a change in 2009. We're only building 115,000 trucks. But as we exited our bankruptcy and now our alliance with our partner in Fiat, pretty steady production for last year, 200,000. This year we'll do about 200,000, and we're looking at a steady volume. Even with one model building out, we're going to stay at a steady 2-shift production facility. And again, I encourage you guys, if you want to buy more trucks, I'd be happy to add some numbers to this chart. Okay, plant demographics. It's a little bit about the plant, products we build. Now this is a very important slide of who builds it, because it's without them, all of these things couldn't happen. So currently there's about 2,400 employees in the plant. If we look at the hourly workforce, they make up the majority of that at 2,200, and then on the salary side, 148. Average age, 44, so that means we have a pretty young workforce, I guess. 26% of which are women. Education level, I think the age and the demographics and the education level primarily follow the demographics right here in southeastern Michigan. So we are pretty much a representation of the folks that live here in Warren, Sterling Heights, and the surrounding cities. Veterans, which I think is important to recognize the folks that fought for our country and freedom, 746 hourly and 7 veterans here in the facility for a total of 753. Plant layout, this is where it gets pretty exciting. Our plant is divided pretty much into 3 centers when we talk about. We talk about paint, we talk about assembly, and then we talk about the body shop. So the first one I'll talk about is body and white. This is one of the areas you're going to see on the floor today. You will not see the paint shop, and the reason you won't see the paint shop really is for 2 reasons. One, it's about a half a mile away. Again, it's on that 1 mile parcel of land, but it's about the furthest extension you could possibly be. So after our walk to get our picture taken, we thought we wouldn't make it walk a half a mile and it's down the road. It's also very important to keep it a clean environment, and to bring this many folks through there, opening and closing doors, could have the potential to impact the quality of the vehicle. So we're going to show you the body shop, and we're going to show you assembly today. But what I do have in here is a couple layouts and some video. Body shop, we talked about the number of employees. Total as a plant is about 2,400. 207 direct and 159 indirect in the body shop. 19 salary employees, and out of this 37 miles of conveyor, there's about 13 of it in the body shop itself. Of the 675 robots, the majority, 629, are in the body shop. And again, we put about 4,800 welds per vehicle. And we build about 1 vehicle a minute here. This layout, although very confusing, is pretty much the way the body shop is laid out. And in one area we build the cab, so we do the body side aperture sub-assembly, we frame it, then we put the doors, fender, and the hood on. In another area of the body shop we build the box, and then ultimately they come together and they go on their way to paint. That's an extreme generalization that my centers would kill me. Okay. So here, if this thing is going to start, we got to hit it one more time. No, okay, it's not going on the video. All right, so 2 videos there, one of which is on the left. This is part of our body shop, and one on the right. I thought it important to show both of them as we talk about restoring basic conditions and the things that we're doing in our facility. This is in the welding shop. We're taking 2 pieces of sheet metal, and this is the underbody, welding them together. The picture on the left, although it's much cooler, and on your name tag you see sparks and everything, actually sparks are bad. So for a clean environment, for energy conservation, it should be more like the video on the right, where you should have sparkless welding. So you'll see some examples of both on the shop floor today. But our goal is to get as close as we can